the only success story of the Arab Spring is truly in tatters.
القرار الأول يتمثل في تجميد كل اختصاصات المجلس النيابي. ستتولى رئاسة النيابة العمومية.
The parliamentary speaker slammed the move as a coup.
Hundreds rallied in Tunis and other cities.
A nighttime curfew has been imposed after clashes between supporters and opponents of the move occurred across the country.
الأزمة التي مرت بها تونس لا تبرر الانقلاب على الديمقراطية، تبرر حوار وطني، تبرر الإصلاح.
Said also announced a 3-month popular consultation ahead of a constitutional referendum in July 2022.
تنظم انتخابات تشريعية إن شاء الله تعالى يوم 17 من شهر ديسمبر من سنة 22 و2000.
Najla Bouden has been plucked from relative academic obscurity and thrust into the spotlight.
لأول مرة امرأة تتولى رئاسة حكومة.
Tension has been rising for weeks between military and civilian factions sharing power in a fragile transitional government.
حل مجلس السيادة الانتقالي وإعفاء أعضائه. خامساً حل مجلس الوزراء.
The country's Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok is under house arrest. International flights to the capital Khartoum have been suspended, while the internet has been cut.
Nearly a month after a military takeover, deposed Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok signed an agreement that paved the way for Hamdok to be reinstated.
استطعنا أن نؤسس تأسيس حقيقي لفترة انتقالية كما تصورناها وكما تخيلها الشعب السوداني.
خلينا نحقن هذا الدم ونوفر طاقات هذا الشباب للبناء والتعمير.
But the main opposition grouping, the Forces of Freedom and Change, says it won't recognize any deal with the military.
At least 40 protesters have been killed since the military took over.
One of the costliest traffic jams in history, a massive container ship the size of a skyscraper has blocked the Suez Canal, causing a huge backlog.
About 30,000 cubic meters of sand were dredged from around the Ever Given during the rescue, with tugboats working around the clock to pull the enormous vessel free.
For the first time in nearly 5 years, Egypt's president has announced the end of a years-long state of emergency.
The state of emergency also granted authorities sweeping powers to make arrests against dissidents and control everyday life.
It's the first official visit of an Israeli leader in more than a decade.
اتفاقية الخيانة للتطبيع مع العدو.
43 عام وإحنا كنحييو هذا اليوم الدولي للتضامن مع الشعب الفلسطيني، كنحيوه بدون مشكل، لم نمنع أبدا، ولكن هذه المرة تمنعنا أول مرة نمنع.
المغاربة اليوم عبروا من خلال صناديق الاقتراع على نيتهم في التغيير، لأنهم ينتظرون التغيير، يتوقون البديل.
اتصلت بالسيد الرئيس عزيز خنوش وهنأته باحتلال حزبه المرتبة الأولى، ونحن نعتبر أن اليوم هو انتصار للديمقراطية في المغرب.
Algeria cuts diplomatic ties with Morocco.
In August, Algeria broke off relations with Morocco, accusing the country of several offences.
This goes back decades to the 1970s when Morocco tried to take control of the Western Sahara, which had been a formerly Spanish colony.
The border shared by Morocco and Algeria has been closed since 1994, and the two countries have long been at loggerheads over Morocco's occupation of Western Sahara.
North African rivals Morocco and Algeria meet.
Fallout between France and Algeria. Relations take another hit as President Emmanuel Macron reportedly defends France's colonial legacy.
Macron went as far as to question whether the Algerian nation even existed before it was colonized by France, and that the current system had been weakened by the recent pro-democracy movement that toppled the late president Abdelaziz Bouteflika. In response, Algiers recalled its ambassador, accusing Macron of interfering in its internal affairs.
باش نحل المجلس الشعبي الوطني الحالي سنمر مباشرة من بعد إلى انتخابات.
Algerians remain widely skeptical about reforms promised by the president. The protest movement that galvanized the nation in 2019 against the ruling class is now calling for a boycott, a lower turnout that could further deepen the country's political crisis.
After years of divisions, Libya's new unity government is formed in the eastern city of Tobruk.
Now is the time for Libyans to forgive each other and forget the past.
حكومة الوحدة الوطنية تعهدت أمام الشعب الليبي بأنها ستسلم السلطة إلى حكومة منتخبة. الانتخابات ستجري يوم 24 ديسمبر إن شاء الله.
نحن ضد مجرمين الحرب في الترشح.
نحن مع الانتخابات، لكن هذه الانتخابات يجب أن تتم بناء على قوانين حقيقة، بناء على قاعدة دستورية أو الاستفتاء على الدستور.
تدشين خط البحري بين مصراتة وإزمير، أولى رحلة للركاب بعد توقف حوالي 25 سنة.
بعد انقطاع 40 أو 50 سنة يعني ترد ليبيا الحمد لله للإقلاع وللإبحار بالباخرة.